everybody. I am checking in with you today while I am driving home, and it's a little bit snowy, so I'm not going to make a lot of eye contact with you, but I wanted to make sure that I got this live done with you before it got too late, because today is a super important topic about tracking, and I want to talk to you a little bit about everything that you need to be tracking and why it's so important. Before we get started, if this is your first time jumping on live and you don't know me personally, I'm Rachel, and I am just finished yesterday, or today I guess you could say, my first round of 80-Day Obsession. I posted this morning, I can't remember if I posted my results in this group or not, but I got super results, and I want to help you get those same amazing results for yourself as well. So right now we are a week away from getting truly started with 80-Day Obsession, and we are going to start with a little obsessed this week. We're going to get to know the meal planning, we're going to get used to the workouts, the sliders, the resistance loops, and all that stuff, and then in 8 days we are going to officially dive into the first workout of 80-Day Obsession. So I've already done the round, like I said before, and I am super pumped to do it again, so I hope you will too. So the reason that you want to track all of this stuff, while it may seem like a burden, like too much and all that, is that is how you are going to see your results from week to week. I know that there were times that I looked at just the number on the scale, or I looked in the mirror and I got a little discouraged and thought, well gosh, I'm putting all this work in, I'm eating all this healthy food and working so hard on my workouts, am I really getting anywhere with the program? And it turns out I was getting a lot more out of it than I thought, based on all of the stuff I was tracking, instead of just looking at the number on the scale or looking at myself in the mirror. So I want to help you do the same. So the first thing that you're going to track on the Sunday, I would suggest before starting, so that's today if you want to do this before we do a little obsessed, or that'll be next Sunday if you want to wait and start doing it before you do the full 80-Day Obsession program, is you want to, of course, track your weight. You want to do that at the same time every day. I suggest doing it first thing in the morning. And so you may want to wait and do this actually tomorrow morning. My first round of 80-Day Obsession, I did it Monday morning before I did my very first workout. The reason for that is, of course, you've gotten rid of all the extra water in your system and some of the food possibly, and you're just kind of starting with a clean slate. But whenever you decide to do it, you want to do it at the same time every single week, or every time you weigh in. Autumn recommends weighing yourself just once every 4 weeks. I will admit I'm a daily weigher. That's how I've always been. It keeps me kind of accountable. I don't get too discouraged when the scale doesn't budge or it goes up. But if that is something that is difficult for you to do without feeling negative, then do not weigh yourself daily. Maybe do it once a week, or even just the once a month. But you're going to want to do it at least once every 4 weeks. And you're going to want to write it down, whether you write it down on the tracker sheet that came in the program materials, your own piece of paper, or that little book. I can't remember if I showed it to you guys or not. I bought it on Etsy. It's an 80-Day Obsession planner, and you can track all of your food and all of your measurements and all that type of thing in it. And I'm going to grab that out right now, I think. So you're going to want to track that information, your weight for sure. You're also going to want to take your measurements, and that you can track right in this book as well. Of course, I can't find it. I think I got it right here. You're going to want to track your measurements as well. And if you look in the little book, it does things like your arm, your upper arm up here, your thigh. You're going to want to track your waist, your hips, your chest. I think that's everything. And you're going to want to try to do it in the same spot every time, especially when you're looking at like your leg and your arm. You're going to want to take your hand like this and put like your pinky at the top of your knee, and then wherever your thumb falls is where you're going to want to measure every single time, and you're going to want to do that on your arm as well. And that way you keep it consistent, you're doing the same thing. If not, take your tape measure and measure from your elbow halfway up your arm and do that as well. Of course, measure your arms and legs when they're relaxed, not your flexed bicep. That's going to give you the most accurate measurement. You're going to want to do those measurements every 4 weeks. And so if you look in, here's my little planner. This is what it looks like. Again, it was on 80-Day or on Etsy, and it has all of the food stuff broken down in here for you as well. You can mark those down in your planner, and there's a spot to do that for you so that you can track those results. I can promise you that it was really cool to look from each phase of the program to see that those numbers change. The bicep went up actually, and then the rest of the measurements all went down. So that was something really cool to see as well. So you got your weight, you got your measurements, and then the third thing you're going to want to do for sure is take pictures. Now, I know taking pictures of yourself is not fun. It's scary. What if somebody sees me? What if somebody sees the pictures? You will regret it if you don't take them, because I have been there. I have skipped the picture part of it, and I got to the end of the program. I was like, gosh, I wish I knew a little better. Obviously, I had my my little sweaty selfies and I can maybe see a little bit, but I didn't get the full picture. So take nice full body pictures of yourself, front, a little bit turned to the side, completely turned to the side, and back. I would suggest doing the side, both sides of it, and hold on to those pictures. What I've been doing with this program is I take them on my phone and then I email them to myself. I download them into my computer and I put them in a folder that says, week 1 or day 0 or day 7, 14, 21, and I take those pictures every single Sunday morning. And I did it without fail, and it was so fun to watch them progress as you went through the program. So I highly recommend doing that. If you're scared somebody's going to find them, save them on your computer under something like, I don't know, bingo, that nobody will guess that those are pictures of yourself under there, and then delete them off of your phone. The very first time I took before and after pictures, I actually emailed them to myself, and I saved the email under a file called shopping, because I figured nobody would ever look there and see that. So that's a way that you can have those, because you're going to want to go back and compare them. And I'll show you guys next week an app. I use Canva, and I'll show you how I do it, to actually make a collage that you can put the before and the after picture side by side, because it is amazing to see the difference from week to week. So I promise you're going to want to do those. Plus, when you're done with the challenge, I'm going to get this done hopefully tomorrow, is you can send them into Beachbody and they'll send you a free t-shirt, an 80-day obsession t-shirt. So you're going to want to have those before and after, so you can send those in, as well as along with all the rest of your results. So that is for sure. The other tracking thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to go to program materials under the program. So for this week, you can find them under A Little Obsessed program materials, or going further on, you can find them under 80-day obsession under program materials, and you'll see tracker sheets, and you're going to want to print those off and write down on the tracker sheet the weights that you are lifting each time you do the workout. The reason for that is if you see in week 1 that for 15 reps, you did a squat, or a surrender, or whatever it was, with a 8-pound weight, and next week you're doing only 10 reps, you're going to want to make sure that you go up in weight. Also leave little notes on there that says 8 pounds, way too easy, go up next time. So you can keep track and make sure that you're pushing yourself. If you don't write those weights down every week, you are not going to know where you need to go in order to keep progressing and getting results. And that is more frustrating, is to put all the time in and get to the end and be like, gosh, I wasn't even sore, or I didn't even really feel like I worked that hard today because my weights weren't heavy enough. So you're for sure going to want to use those tracker sheets. It seems like a lot of stuff. It's 14 weeks, but for the 80-day obsession, it's 4 pieces of paper a week times 14 weeks, so it's like 56 sheets of paper. Totally doable. For A Little Obsessed, there's 5 days of the sheets, and you're going to want to print them out. So I would highly suggest tracking that as you go as well, because you're going to want to see what weights you're using as you go through the program, so you can see that you're lifting weights. Plus, the very last week, you are going to go back and revisit some of the workouts, and you want to go back and see what weight you did for that particular phase and that particular workout, so that you can again see if you're increasing your weight to therefore increase your results. So tracking is so important. The other thing that you're going to want to track is your food. I showed you a picture of my planner. Write it down every day. Make out a sheet that's got whatever containers you need. There's also some in your meal planner under 80-day obsession. And write down the food and keep track of that every single day, so that you can see what you've eaten and make sure you've gotten all of your containers. And you can see where you slipped up. Maybe you had an extra carb that day because you got super duper hungry. And you can kind of track that on day 3 every week in phase 1, you're really, really hungry and you're eating an extra carb. Maybe it's time to bump up a level in your meal plan. Or maybe you can see, oh gosh, I was out to eat and I ate this salad and I had wonton strips on it, and now the next day my weight bumped up a little bit instead of going down, and I'm feeling discouraged. Well, gosh, it was probably the wonton strips. They're salty and they're a carb, and they're going to make your weight bump up. So you can kind of evaluate that kind of stuff as well. You can also track how much water you're drinking, and what time of day you're eating certain foods and how that's affecting you, because all of that is going to play into the results that you're getting. And when you come to me and you say, all right, I am in week 4 and I didn't lose any weight, what the heck's going on? I can look at your meal planner and say, well, that's because maybe this is happening, or maybe you need to bump up in the meal plan, or maybe on the day that you do AAA, that was always a day that I got super hungry. You might want to rearrange your food a little bit so that you're eating a little bit more earlier in the day, so you're not so you're fueling your body earlier. So we can work and make all that stuff work out for you. So the stuff that you're going to want to track, I know it seems like a lot, but it is so worth it, and it really does not take that much time. You're going to want to track your weights. You're going to want to track your measurements. You're going to want to do your before and after pictures, and I would suggest doing those pictures every single week. You're going to want to track the weight that you're lifting in your workouts. You're going to want to check your food. And lastly, track the amount of water that you are drinking every day to make sure you're getting in your water. That's an easy one for me. I have a purple water bottle, and I just make sure I drink 2 of those. And that gets me my 64 ounces, plus I have a little bit of stuff in my shake here and there, and so I make sure I get enough ounces of water. So that's all the stuff that I track. I suggest you do the same. If you have any questions about that, shoot me a PM so I can help you out. And best of luck. Get ready to start our first day of A Little Obsessed. Please make sure that you post a pic of your sweatiness tomorrow morning, or at the very least, post that you did your workout so we can see that you are doing what you need to be doing. If not, I'm going to send you a message and bug you about it. So have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.